the preparedness of INEC in the Anambra election. We are very much concerned with the insecurity situation in Anambra State, and that we cannot afford not to hold the election on the 6th. Therefore, as a committee on electoral matters and INEC, we decided to invite INEC and all the security chiefs to brief us how prepared they are for the election. It is really democratic, and it's undemocratic if we cannot hold election in that state. Therefore, there is really a need, and it's very essential that INEC must be prepared to hold election with the support of all the security agencies in the country. So the essence really, I'm happy that we are still expecting some of the guests we have invited, but we'll read my speech, and then later we can go into a closed session for discussing details on how this committee could be satisfied that INEC and security services are ready to conduct election on the 6th. Let me just read my speech. I really appreciate the coming of all the, or most of the invited guests, and we're still waiting for the other invited guests. And thank you for finding time, despite your very tight schedule, to attend this very crucial meeting. Your presence before this joint committee of the National Assembly is a clear indication that you are partners in building our growing democratic culture and the contribution of your own quota to the democratic growth of development of our nation. The National Assembly Joint Committee on INEC and Electoral Matters is very much aware of the level of insecurity that has developed the nation. We appreciate the unrelenting efforts by security agencies in trying to protect lives and property of the ordinary Nigerians. It is also important to note that your effort and commitment to the protection of lives and property of Nigeria is priceless and highly appreciated, especially because the lives of officers and men of our security forces have been lost, and more are being committed to protecting the security of the nation. However, if we are to sustain the socio-economic and political development of this nation, the democratic process must also be sustained. Therefore, we are partners in the social, political, and economic development of our nation. You will agree with me that the electoral process is presently undergoing a rebirth in terms of its supported legislation, a process which the National Assembly will conclude in a matter of weeks. The situation in Anambra State is quite unfortunate, especially at the time when we are approaching the gubernatorial election in the state. Election, as you are aware, is a recruitment process of leadership, as well as foundation that carries the builders of change and development. Recently, INEC increased the polling units in Anambra State from 4,600 plus to 5,700 plus. This effort is to allow a situation where polling units will be accessible to electorates. This can only be achieved when and where the safety of the people is really assured. The commitment of this administration to the sustenance of democracy can only be reinforced by practical, constructive, and affirmative action by every institution of this government and partners in development. I'm convinced our effort will definitely not be wasted, but will be a positive approach that will ensure the future of Nigerian unity. I thank you and God bless you, and I just hope and pray that all efforts should be put on table to make sure that this election is hitch-free, fair, credible, and transparent. I thank you for being here, and God bless you all.
An invitation to brief you on the preparations for the election as far as INEC is concerned. And in summary, I would like to say that INEC is ready for the Anambra governorship election in the next 10 days. That is on Saturday, 6 November 2021. When we release the timetable for the election on the 19th of January this year, we identified 14 activities that had to be accomplished leading to the election, from the publication of notice to election day. And as of today, we have successfully accomplished 12 out of the 14 activities on schedule. The only outstanding activities are the last day of campaign by political parties, which is going to be in the next 8 days, 24 hours of the election, that is Thursday, 4th November, 2021, and the election day proper on the 6th of November. We have recovered from the series of attacks on our facilities, and I'm happy to say that we have deployed all the non-sensitive materials, not only to Oka, but to all the 21 local government areas. We have trained the requisite number of ad hoc staff for the election, and we have also mobilized the transport owners for electoral logistics. As far as INEC is concerned, we are good to go on the 6th of November, 2021. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you.
We have a little over 81,000 valid registrants. After the suspension of the CVR in Anambra State, that includes a little over 5,000 that applied for replacement of cards and intrastate and interstate transfers. And as we speak, we are batching the cards. They will leave first thing tomorrow morning for Oka, and all the new registrants will get their cards before the election. Fortunately, this time around, with the help of technology, we are able to harvest the telephone numbers as well as the email addresses of the registrants. So we'll contact each and every one of them and tell them where to pick their cards. But the cards will be delivered to Oka tomorrow. Thank you. In Anambra, beyond our state and local government offices to ward levels. And that is exactly what we are going to do to enable people to collect their cards. We'll devolve to ward level. And so those who have no means of communication like telephones or cards will announce on radio and other means of communication so that they can go down to the level of wards to collect their cards. They don't have to come to our state or local government offices.
And electoral matters from the House of Representatives. And then we also invited the chairman, national chairman, INEC, and the commissioners. We invited the DGSS, the civil defense, immigration, and other service chiefs to be here. From our meeting, we had discussions with those that are around. And what we needed to hear from the national chairman is that how INEC is prepared to conduct this election. And from what they told us, they all briefed us that they are prepared and they put everything in place. All the documentations required, the papers, the ballot papers, and all the rest are already at the base, which is they are already in Awka, Anambra State. Some are also being deployed even to local government levels. So which means they are prepared for the elections. When we asked some of the security officers that were with us today, they also made their plans to deploy more of the security personnel to Anambra State, and that they are aware of the problems on that or in that state, and they have found challenges or ways of getting rid of that problems. So we have hope and believe that elections will hold in Anambra. We cannot afford not to even hold the election. We'll hold the election, inshallah, in Anambra State. And immediately after, we'll declare, the INEC will declare who is the winner of the election in that state. I will expect all the people of Anambra will cooperate and support the winner of that election to govern the state in peace. We really need to have peace in Anambra and all other states of the Federation. And the security agents has promised us to work hard and make sure that this election is a hitch-free and violent-free elections by God's grace.
Is there any intention to use the electronic transfer of results in this election or the communal transfer, even though it has not been signed into law?
Well, first of all, it's left to INEC to decide. Like what they did in Edo State, it was okay. they were still transferring or transmitting the results from the polling units to the centers. And most of us Nigerians were monitoring the elections. Even by 4 p.m., most of us didn't wait to get the final result from the INEC headquarters because we are going through all the things we are able to pick up from the internet. So I assure you they will do everything possible to make sure that Nigerians are fully involved or notified or at least carried along during these elections. And we need the cooperation of gentlemen of the press. We need your cooperation, and you have been giving us cooperation even during the process of making this Electoral Act, and I thank all of you on behalf of my members of the committee. We are proud of the gentlemen of the press for their contribution towards this democratic process. And thank you very much, and God bless you.
What do you want use most to do?